Hello, ladies.
Oh,
We are now live here on our Striving in Sisterhood inspirational page. And ladies, I hope that you all are coming on in. You have a treat tonight. I have two beautiful women who are ready to tell you about their sisterhood stories. So, ladies, come on in. If you are new to this group, once again, my name is Laval Ezel. I am your host today. I am a life coach and sisterhood strategist and just an everyday woman just like you. And so here in this community, we come every Monday, either just giving inspiration, giving things that you can do to cultivate your friendships, and just to tell you why friendships and sisterhood is so important. And that sisterhood, it becomes sisterhood once you start beginning to become more mature in who you are as a woman and understanding the purpose of your friendships. That's where it turns into sisterhood, not just friends, but now you are sisters. I mean, you are bonded, your hearts are bonding together. And that's what you want to be able to experience. I always say every woman needs to experience sisterhood on the level that she can. And that progresses as you mature in life. So ladies, get your drinks, get your snacks, sit back because you're gonna have a good time. I want to introduce you to two beautiful women. First of all, I want to introduce you to Miss Veronica. Wave at us, Miss
Hi.
Veronica. And then also we have the beautiful Candice.
hey everyone.
And basically tonight we're just gonna have girl talk, pretty much, you know. And so I want you guys to understand that these women have inspired me. And so I was inspired to have them as a guest because I heard about their friendship and how it has evolved over time. And it was just exciting to me. And I'm like, wow. And so what I want them to do is basically just to give you their story. And what I want you to do, ladies, is I want you to start from the beginning. And you guys can play, tag team together and tell the story. And I may intervene and ask clarification and that kind of thing. But just tell us what happened. How did you meet? What was the thing that let you know in your heart, I want to get to know her? Who wants to start?
Veronica, you want to start first?
Well, I guess I get started. So it all started with a prayer. I, I was at a time in my life where I knew that my life was shifting. A lot of things about my life was shifting, including the people that was in my life. And, I knew that the shift was from God. And so I tried to make sure that I stayed in that flow of whatever that God was doing. And he told me, you know, your next place that I take you, you don't have to try to reach back and pull people up, in this next place with you, but I'm going to have people already waiting on you in this next season. And so with him saying that, I prayed for these friends that will accommodate this new season that he's telling me I'm going to go into. And so I met Candice at a tire shop. I believe my husband sent me to the tire shop. I think he had to work or something. Sent me to the tire shop to get my tires rotated or something. I went up there for. But I remember when I seen her, I remember feeling like she's one. I remember like God was like, okay, that's one. That's your friend. And
Right.
so we
So
said
it was an inner knowing.
it was because I don't even remember when I think back, I don't remember because I know how a lot of my other conversations, other places that I go, I know
Right.
how they kind of start. I don't
Right.
even remember how the conversation started. I don't know how I ended up beside her, sitting by her, talking to her. I don't even know how none of that happened. Everything else was a blur for me. But I knew that she's supposed to be my friend. And then somehow we start talking. Sis, what did I talk to you first, or how did that happen?
Yeah, you talked to me first, and you would have had to because I'm not the person that would probably go at that time. I
Yeah.
wouldn't probably go up and approach anybody. But yes, she came to me. I was there with my husband and my daughter, and she came up with smiles and hugs and, just wanted to get to know me. And then we began to talk. And as we started unpacking some things, we found out that she's actually married to a cousin of mine. So it was even, it was even more special at that point. But I remember we exchanged numbers and we began to talk after that. But yes, she approached me.
So what I heard, ladies, is that first of all, Veronica had a prayer. And a lot of times we don't pray about our friends. And so that's key right there that I want you to write, like take some notes. She prayed about friends that was going to walk with her in her new season because she had come out of a bad season. And Candice, were you looking for friends? How would you say, what place were you in at that time?
Well, I'll tell you where I was at. First of all, I needed a friend.
Needed a friend. So God knew she needed
a
it.
friend, that was for sure. I'm very close to my mom and I'm very close to my husband. I had a lot of good girlfriends from college and high school. But as we've gotten older, we kind of went off and got married and kind of living our own lives. Now we talk to each other maybe once a month, but we'll go like 3 or 4 months without speaking to each other. So Veronica kind of was my first friend that wanted to be in my life, like on a day-to-day, on a weekly basis. So it was new to me. But so I won't say I was all the way closed off because I was able to talk to her, but at the same time, I wasn't the type of person that would have went up to her. That's why now I thank God that she just naturally an extrovert. I'm more of an introvert. And so she approached me, and to this day, I thank God because I may have missed out on a friend, a great friend, because at the time I wasn't approaching people.
And usually in friendships, just like they say in relationships, opposites attract. And I find even in my own life that I always attract someone that has a completely different personality than myself. And so I see this in your friendship as well, is that your personalities are completely different, but yet you balance one another out. Would you say that? Yes. I mean, that's what I've seen too in getting to know them. So what I heard you say, Candice, is that you were used to just your family, like your mother and your husband being your friend. You had not had that day-to-day friendship that you really needed in this next season of your life. Is that right?
Okay.
So we do need to identify that as we mature and God is shifting our lives, he's going to send us something new. So it is going to be a bit uncomfortable, especially when he's bringing women into your life that's going to stretch you a little bit. So know that you have to have your heart open for when that woman that's like Veronica walks up to you and say, hey, you want to be my friend? And it's going to be awkward and it's going to be weird. But guess what? Just keep your heart open and watch what God is going to do. So ladies, what's the next part of your story? You finally connected. And so what I want to find out is when you finally connected, how was that adjustment to Candice, her calling you every day? How did you do that? Not every day, but more frequently.
But she did call me more frequently than my other friends, but I will tell you it was never intrusive or anything like that. She always was asleep when she called, but I remember the first phone call. I missed her call and had to call her back, and then she missed my call, and I remember her being so genuine on the first call. She had something she was doing, and she was like, girl, I couldn't get to the phone. She said something very candid. I'll just keep it. She was like, girl, I had to run and go to the restroom. She said, but it was endearing to me because she didn't have anything to hide. It was just like, girl, I had to do this, I had to do that. And that's why I missed your call. She was just, from day one, Veronica has been all the way in. That's what I'm going to say. She's been all the way in from day one. And from day one, she's been transparent and real. And wanting to be my friend. And I thank God that I that I was able to see that and just be able to experience such a good friend now. So.
And so what I hear too is that Veronica, when she got that notion, this is a person that I want to befriend. She was very intentional about making sure that she was going to connect with her. And the other thing that I want women to know is that learn to be yourself, you know, especially in your relationships, is be yourself, because you don't want to pretend to be this person when you first meet them. And then all of a sudden you go back to being who you really are. And then they're like, who are you? Like, that's not who, the person that I met. So it's just good to be who you are from the beginning. And if it's a divine connection, they're going to love that part of your character or your personality. Because I know with Veronica, I know Veronica's Veronica. And I love her for it. I love women who are themselves, like whatever that looks like. They don't apologize for how God created them. And it takes a while for us to get there. But when you're around a person that is like that, it frees you to be who you're supposed to be, you know? And so I'm similar to Candice. So I need people that's gonna be like, hey, you know, like, let's get here. I need some more energy. So for me, that's good, because Candice and I are real similar in personality, you know, quiet, kind of mellow, chill. And then we have a Veronica, like, no, y'all come out.
Let's dance.
And I know for me, over the course of time, the friendships that God has brought into my life, it's always been women who are the life of the party. So I know a lot of people say, you're not shy. I used to be. And I'm still reserved in my own, you know, in my own space, depending on what's going on. But for the most part, I've evolved because God has brought women into my life to bring me out of my shell. So know that God is going to send a woman that's going to help you to grow and to really be discovering new things about yourself. That's the part that keeps the glue to the friendship, is that person is sparking things in you. You're like, oh, I didn't know that about myself, or I didn't know I like that, or I like this, or I never thought about this. They change your perspective. They help you to grow in your personality and trying new things. So those are things that I see in you guys' relationship that I love that part of your story. And so we talked about being intentional, as far as if you're the person that's kind of making sure that the other person knows, I want to have a friendship with you. I always joke around and say, whenever you know that this is a person that you're wanting to get to know better, let them know, I want to get to know you better. I want to be your friend. And I always tell women, you need to ask to be a part of someone's life. So basically, that's kind of like we go back to elementary school. Will you be my friend? Will you be my friend? And I know that sounds elementary, but you're asking for permission and you're letting that person know, I want your friendship. I desire your friendship. And Candice, tell them a little bit about how you felt when you knew Veronica wanted to be your friend. Because I think you expressed that when I was talking to you earlier. If you could tell them about that.
Well, I knew that she wanted to know me, but when she began to want to be like in my life as far as my goals and my objectives, and she wanted to be like present with me. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Like when she started that, I mean, the way I felt, at first it took some getting used to, but at the same time, just to have that accountability all the time and to have somebody that's sharpening you all the time. And it was like we were giving to each other, like she'll have a word for me and I have a word for her. And we had the same foundation. I mean, I hope I answered your question.
Yes, that's exactly what I wanted you to share, because in this group, we always talk about the levels of friendship. So basically, that's what we're doing. We're walking through the levels of friendship of how you guys evolved to the friendship and the sisterhood that you have now. And so we talked about when you guys were at acquaintance, acquaintance, casual, And as over time, you guys your hearts began to knit together. You saw that you had the same goals in life. You wanted to become stronger women as far as wives. They both have children. And I didn't allow you guys to tell a little bit about your life, but they're both married. And like I said before, well, Candice said that their husbands are, no, Veronica's husband is Candice's cousin, but they didn't know that before. That just, something else that's just a bonus if you ask me. But they went through growing as wives, as women, as emerging leaders in what they do. And so they now have gotten to the relationship of close. And so it evolved over time. Now, how many years would you guys say it took you to walk through casual to close? That's one of the things that I want the women to understand, is that sometimes it doesn't always happen instantly like TV shows you. Sometimes it's years to build that relationship. If you guys want to share a little bit about the building process of when you guys were really still getting to know one another, the ins and outs of life. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I've noticed that in the last couple of years, me and Candice's relationship just have gotten we have just gotten so much closer. And I guess I'll say experiencing each other on another level that we hadn't yet experienced each other. And we've been knowing each other for about 10 years now. Right. But I believe in the last couple of years has been, we have had significant growth as in our friendship. So of course throughout the years is, we shared our life together. We are both married, so we've been married the same amount of time, 15 years. And so we shared about marriage, shared about raising kids, and of course we always share about being a woman,
right.
And that self-care and all that. So now we are in a place that it's, I say, a sweet spot. I always tell Candice that she's in a sweet spot, but we are in a sweet spot in our friendship. It is very, very important to us. We make sure we take time to love on one another, to talk to one another. We got this thing that we started years ago, and whatever day we start saying is tell the truth Tuesday. So we're gonna tell the truth, call each other, tell the truth Tuesday, but it really is whatever day we call. If it's Thursday, it's tell the truth Thursday, know? And so sometimes we'll start the conversation like, okay, Candice, okay, this is tell the truth Monday, and I need to talk to you on this level right here. And so we have grown a lot, but the last couple of years, it just seemed like it just have went to just great heights in our relationship. So that's what I say.
What about you, Candice?
Well, I was going to add to that I think that's because we, in the last 3 years, we've been really focusing on growth. Like, I watched her grow rapidly in some areas. So now, of course, you have a more mature relationship where you can see better. I'm at a time in my life right now where I'm really focusing on self-care, and I'm really focusing on being present. So what happens? You can focus on the people you love a lot better. So Veronica is she's able to enjoy some of those benefits from me being in such a great place. That's why she just mentioned that. But it's just like, I know that from the beginning, I felt like I was close to her. We spent a lot of time with each other. I think that, it's just so good to have her on the journey as far as with being a mother and being a wife. And it's just been really good. But I like the last couple of years have been just amazing, because we have been super intentional on gifting each other things, knowing each other's love language. We also have been, we know our husbands too. It's not like, we're big into love language, because that's how we understand how the person understands love and receives love. So that's important because I want my friend to know that, I do care and I love her. So yeah, the last couple of years have been just really good. So I agree.
Yes.
I agree.
Yes.
Okay, that was really, really good. And I will also say I love the Tell the Truth Tuesday. And I feel like every friendship is gonna have something special to it. So ladies, you may have several friends, but I guarantee you each friend you're gonna have something special with that one woman just because God has knit you together for a particular purpose in a season. So know that you cannot compare your friendships. They're all completely different. And I want you to know that you give something different in friendships. For this woman, it might be this. You're consistent in most things, but there's always going to be something completely different that you're allowed to share with that woman that you may not always share with other women. And that's okay because God has a purpose. And that's what we're talking about today is what is the purpose of your friendships? Now, I had another question. We talked about this is the journey of sisterhood of Candice and Veronica, okay? Now, a lot of times there are times that things are not always so great. And so I wanted to ask you guys a question. What's something that you guys went through that was real, real tough on you both at that time, but you've now gotten through it? You can laugh about it now, but then it wasn't so funny. Tell me a little bit about one of those situations. Because ladies, even I don't care how close you are to someone, things are going to happen. And the thing that we want to learn is how are we going to get through it? Are you going to fight through it? Are you going to stick and stay? Or are you going to run? You're going to give up on the friendship. So you got to be committed. So lady, what was that for you?
Okay. So I think it might have been 2014-ish, maybe. Was it that, Miss Martin? 2014, 2013, something like that.
14.
14. Okay. So me, Candice, and then we had a third person. And the bottom line is that it was like a misunderstanding. Something that was told to Candice from the other person was told to her, maybe in a different, no doubt in a different way than I would have told her. Because I have, my heart is always to do right by people, not just Candice, but by people, period. And so, so there was a misunderstanding. And with that, me and Candice tried to talk, but it just kind of we separated for about like a year and a half. We did not talk. I remember, I say we didn't talk, but it was a couple of times. I think Candice got pregnant. I found out my husband seen her husband in a store and said that she was pregnant with her second baby. I know she had one daughter, but she was pregnant with a second baby. And I was so excited when he told me about that. And I remember the Lord just prompted me to pray for her womb. I kept praying and praying and praying for her, probably throughout the pregnancy. Once I found out, I was going through different things of separation and just different things in my life. We both was going through different things, good things and bad things in our lives. But we wasn't there. We were separated for about a year and a half because of the misunderstanding. And, and then God reconnected us. Candice reached out to me, which my friend, I love you so much. That was a big deal that Candice reached out to me first, and so and then we reconnected, we caught up, and I met the little one and all that and everything, and our friendship became stronger than ever from this misunderstanding. But I do want to be really clear that it was a misunderstanding. The thing that I remember when we was separating, we didn't really talk. I remember feeling I was hurt, not by what happened and the way that it happened and whatever that might have been said and all that. I was hurt because I didn't have my friend with me. It wasn't, I can't even, that never was a concern what happened. My issue was I don't have my friend. It wasn't like, oh, she said this and then this happened and then this happened. I wanted my friend. So that's what hurted me the most. But God knew my heart. He knew Candice's heart, and he did bring us back together. And I just want, Candice, if there's anything you wanted to share with that, then you can.
I do, and I wanted to just say, like, I just wanted to add in there that when we came back together, of course, I called her. I heard that she was going through a difficult time, like a separation, and so I called her. I wanted to see about her. I wanted to be there for my friend, and I just remember never feeling like we missed a day. Like we didn't have to. It was, I think we cried the first time.
Yes.
We sat there and apologized and said whatever we needed to say. But the main thing we kept saying to each other is how much that time that we had been away from each other, how much we needed each other during that time. Like I was pregnant and I had my baby, my second daughter at 31 weeks. I would have, so, and she was going through something. So all I'm saying is just make sure, I do want to encourage people to make sure, you don't let small offense and small things and know that people grow, so, and friendships grow. So sometimes, little small misunderstandings can result into greatness, because her and I, we say this all the time now, nothing petty can come between us.
Right.
Nothing petty.
I like that. I like that.
Nothing petty, because this is my true battle buddy. So
Yeah. I love that. I love that. And I always say in sisterhood, there's the good, the bad, and the ugly. And even when it gets ugly, God can turn it into something you never thought would be. And that ugly thing is really where he really wants us to press in and really go to him when there's an issue and you need some type of resolution. We have to go to him so that we can ask him, how do I resolve this with my friend? Because if we try to do it in our own flesh, it's going to go the wrong way. And so I would encourage you, ladies, whenever there's a misunderstanding, I don't care if it's this big or this big or this big, take it to God first, let him deal with your heart, and better believe that God is dealing with her heart as well. And if you both surrender to the humbling of the Holy Spirit, there's going to be restoration. There is going to be restoration because God is faithful. And I love to hear that those stars. I have actually experienced it, and even just hearing them, we are a witness that if God is in it, there can be restoration in friendship. So thank you, ladies, for sharing that, because that's not always easy to go back to a painful place, even when it's a friendship. So thank you. Look, I see you over there tearing up.
I've been emotional the whole time. I'm just completely emotional today.
Man, and so, yeah, and that's why we are having these conversations, because ladies, I want you to see real, raw, and uncut friendships that have gone through the fire.
Yes.
And now you see something beautiful has come out of it. And it is because God divinely put two people together and has allowed them to evolve through the friendship. And that is just a beautiful feeling. Candice, would you say so?
I would say this.
I mean, it's like nothing besides, I know we all women can be married, but a friendship is very similar to a marriage. It's very similar to that. So, and I would say, if you're single, ladies, if you are single, this is the time that you really need a woman that's going to help cultivate you, because everything that you learn in singleness, you're going to need 3 times worse when you get married.
Yes.
So if you have a friend that you're having to work out relationships and conversations and communication, she is getting you ready, honey. So if you're single, find you a really good, strong woman that's going to help you balance yourself out, because you're going to use everything that you learn in that friendship. You're going to use it in marriage. Can I get a witness?
Yes.
And it's going to keep you. And even when you get married, you still need a good woman that's going to help keep you accountable, because that helps you to sustain your marriage and hold you accountable to being the wife that God has called you to be. So I just wanted to put that out there as a nugget, and they are my witnesses, because if you have good friends, they're not going to let you walk away from your marriage. They're going to challenge you. Why are you saying, why are you doing that? Why are you acting like that? Because that's just like when you go to the altar and they say, do you hold these people accountable to, you know, making sure that they keep this marriage healthy? Yes, we are those ones that will make sure that you do everything you need to do to keep that marriage going on your end, at least. So let's see. I want you guys to share, what do you receive from each other that's been life-changing? From you guys sharing one another, you know, sharing experiences and how you all, the attributes that you give each other. I guess we could talk about that. What have you gained from the other woman's gifts, her commitment, who, you know, in the friendship?
Candice, you want to go or you want me to go?
You go first.
Oh my. What have I gained from Candice? It's so many, and I'm thinking about so many little things, but I'm gonna say this. I said this when we talked. One thing that I love, and I keep bringing this up, and I think about this throughout the day too. One thing that I love about Candice is how she is into my life, my family. She remembered things that I probably have forgotten. I'm like, how you know that my mama did that? Or how you know my mama? You know, I don't, and I'm not very good at that when it comes to, that's something I'm beginning to work on when it comes down to Candice. And I probably, so I'm just gonna say that I really love the fact that she is always, you know, always, I guess, present, not only in my life, but also what's going on in my family's life and everything that's going on around me. I love, 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 love that about her. That's something that I don't naturally do. You know, like I said, when I met her at the tire shop, I didn't even see nobody else. She said her husband, said her husband and her child was there. I didn't see them. I just see Candice, you know, and I guess I still been focusing on Candice for 10 years. But anyway, I love the fact that she's into my life, not just me, but my family. I got 3 boys, my husband, my mama, my sisters, my brother. You know, she knows. I'm like, did I tell you that? How you know that? I don't remember telling you that. And she know names. She know everything. I'm like, okay. But I love that. That right there really warms and fills my heart about Candice. So I'm gonna say this.
Well, I start with, I love that Veronica is committed to my life, like committed to my dreams, committed to my goals, committed to my objectives. And she says, she brought up, like she doesn't ask about my family, but that's not true. I talk about my family probably so much that she doesn't have to, but she's always there. What I gain from her is wisdom, motherly wisdom, good godly wisdom. She's always there for me to have as an accountability partner. I just really love how she has taken me on as, like you said when we started, a sister. Like, I'm her sister. Like, how are you doing? If you got a problem, we got a problem.
Right. Yes, man, that's so good. What I heard you guys saying and what I want to point out is that you actually are exchanging attributes. When you're building a friendship, sisterhood, that is the reason why you're opposite, because the thing about that you said, Veronica, about Candice, that she is all in tune with your family. God knows that that is something that warms your heart.
Yes, it really
So he gave you a friend with that attribute for you. It's a blessing, it's a gift. And what you have, she is a gift to her. And so it is a mutual exchange that God is like, yeah, when you commit to sisterhood, these are the gifts that you receive. And you don't even know it. I mean, the work that it sounds like it's a lot of work, but it's really not. When your heart is all in it, it becomes easy. It's natural. It's things that you just want to do because that's who you are. And so that's what God wants you to do, is give freely in all of your friendships, because you're going to get something out of it. Even if you don't think that you are, you will receive so many blessings that it will blow your mind. And so, ladies, I just want you to inspire you tonight through this story. And even just as we move forward this year, we're going to have a lot of stories this year. This is the beginning stages, because we want the world to know that sisterhood is real. It's not just something we talk about. It is something that we have lived, have experienced, and you're going to experience it more than one time. Because it's the seasons of life are going to change. And the other thing that I wanted to talk about that I mentioned it yesterday, but I don't think most people saw it, is that I actually met Veronica through one of my other friends. Mm-hmm. And now I've gained another sister through Veronica. So you see how this sisterhood,
this right,
is growing, because I just met Candice a month ago, or less than a month ago, and I feel like I already know her. And it's because there's a divine connection, there's a divine purpose, because this is the way we are. If I bring a friend into the circle, you already know she good people.
Come on.
That's
so
right.
I don't have to wonder if Candice is good people, because I know the character that Veronica has. If she gonna bring somebody close, it's gonna be a good woman.
You better know it. Yes.
And of value and of wisdom. I already know that. So all I need to do is, Candice, tell me a little bit about you. And then we actually can have conversations outside of Veronica.
That's right.
That's what this community is all about. Whenever we have the sisters sit and chat, I always tell women, just come, you're gonna have a good time. I can't explain why, how, I can't give you that. All I can say is show up, and God will be there for you, waiting on you. And if you've never been to a sister sit and chat, your time is coming, whether it's virtual or in person, it's coming, okay? Because you're in this community and you're connected with us. And Veronica, can I get you to share your first experience? Because you've only been to one, right? Tell me about your experience, because that was actually a sisterhood turning point for you.
Yes, it was. You came here to Arkansas, and I think it was in North Little Rock. We was at a restaurant.
It was in January.
Yeah, it was in January.
2 years
so it was
ago.
like a couple of years ago.
2 years ago.
2 years ago. Okay.
It was snowing that day.
Okay. Yes, it was snowing outside, and it was so amazing. First of all, I just love to see Laval in her zone. When she started talking about sisterhood, it is a wrap. She's in her zone, and she knows, she's so confident in this, and it's amazing the ministry that God puts down on the inside of people. But anyway, I remember this is when I realized, just through the chat, and then people asked questions, and you took us through the levels of friendship. And I remember feeling like, oh my goodness, there's levels to this thing. But she does so well by explaining it and breaking it down and all that. I just know that when I meet people, normally, I guess the people that God have me, I'm going all the way in, like I did Candice. But one thing I found out about myself being there was, I have a problem with what's the word? I can't even think of the word. Inconsistency. So It took her breaking down all of that and for me to understand that I can go through and handle probably anything. We can work through anything, and when it comes down to a friendship, relationship, any ship, whether it's my kids, my husband, my friends, my mama. But inconsistency is what I had a problem with. Yeah. And it kind of was that was something that I learned while being there, is that I have a struggle when somebody's inconsistent. And so that's what I learned about myself. And so with me knowing that, I was able to what do I need to say? Maybe like I guess I started going into my relationships and the relationships I currently had with
you
that
started doing an assessment of your
and there you go.
friendships.
Yeah, exactly. And it was very helpful, because now I know what I need. And so I have to kind of somehow relay that to them in some way, and first of all, I always want to make sure that I'm being consistent too, if that's what I desire from the person as well. Right. So I always correct Veronica first, and then I'm gonna expect for you to get on board, So it is just a great experience.
And the key is that if you have an attribute that you give, it's not too much for you to expect it, especially when you get into a close and intimate relationship with a friend. It's not too much to ask for it in return. Now, they may not be perfect at it, and you can kind of work through that. But when you have a friend and you know that this is something that helps them to communicate better or helps them to be in the friendship, you actually want to do it. It's something like when we learn something new about a friend or someone that we truly love, and they say, this is something that I really need that helps me, not in a selfish way, but it helps me to grow. It helps me to understand. We actually desire to do that. And so it just kind of works because both parties are willing to work and add to the relationship so that you can help one another, because each person is going to have something different that they need consistency in.
Right.
But usually from my experience, it's an area that you need to grow in anyway. So don't take offense to it. Just say, you know what? I really do need to work on that. I do need to be more consistent in this area, because it will benefit not just the friend, it's going to benefit everyone in your life.
Right.
So it is an attribute that you probably are lacking in. And God is always wanting us to develop and mature in a different area. So take it as, I just have work to do, Right. So that's what friendships do. Candice, did you want to add anything, just to share? You've never been to the Sister Sit and Chat, but basically even anything that Veronica just talked about.
I do want to say about the consistency, because I do appreciate that about Veronica, because I was the type of person that I was, and I had to get used to the friendship. I had to even work on consistency and answering calls and being there those first couple years. So I'm grateful for the sisterhood because she probably learned how to be a good friend to me, because at first I struggled with that. I struggle with that. But now, sis, I'm doing good, right?
Oh, you excellent. I give you a 10. You get a 10. Sis, 10.
Those first few years I had to learn how to be a friend. But now that I have the relationship and it's so good, I make sure I do the things to keep it up.
I'm with you on that too, Candice. I had to work on it too. So you're not by yourself. Especially when Veronica contacts you, be like, oh snap, let me not in a negative way, but it keeps me on my toes. And Tiffany is like that too. So yeah. No.
Yes, me and Tiffany are.
So I'm always, thinking about that, not just with her, but in every relationship that I have, just having integrity and responding. So it's an attribute that we need. And the other thing that I wanted to talk about is I asked Veronica about her experience and even just coming to the Sister Sit and Chat, being a part of this community and learning more about sisterhood. So therefore, because she has a friendship sisterhood with Candice, she is actually practicing the attributes that she now is aware of. And it has made her relationships, probably not just with Candice, but even other women, has made it stronger.
Yes.
And so the one thing that we want to do, especially this year, is multiply this movement of sisterhood. Because if one woman learns how to walk in sisterhood, godly sisterhood, she's going to teach at least 2 other women how to do the same based off of her relationship with the other woman. Am I right? Would you guys say that that's true? And so that is why we have this community, so that we all can become stronger sisters, so that we can teach another woman, what does biblical sisterhood look like? Because when God is in it, it's gonna grow, it's gonna mature, it's gonna bring wisdom, and it's gonna bring positivity to your life in some form or fashion. God is faithful in that, and I will never stop saying that, ladies. But what I want to do before we wrap up this is, we are to the point where Candice and Veronica told you about their friendship, which has evolved. We're talking about what, over 12 years now, right? I don't know.
10.
10. Okay, so you're at 10 years now?
About 10.
10, 11?
About 10.
Okay. Okay. So now I'll say in the last year, God spoke to their hearts about combining their gifts and talents. And I'm going to let them tell you about what they're doing together for purpose.
Amen. Candice, since this was your idea initially, I'm going to let you get that started.
Well, Veronica and I started a podcast, Conversations with My Friend. Conversations with My Friend is a safe space for Christian women like us to talk about real topics and just be authentic, just have a good old girlfriend conversation. We bring the men in, sometimes our husbands, and we talk about topics that men would be interested in, and it's just a blast. So Veronica, you want to tell them about the times of the podcast, but we want y'all to join us sometime.
I also want to say, first of all, it's been amazing. We got started on Candice's birthday, which was July 29th, 2020. And we just been going strong ever since. And we gearing up to put some other things in place for the podcast for this year. We're very, very, very excited. One thing that I want to say is some of the, if you go and listen to the podcast and go back, because we do it in series. So sometimes, it's 3 or 4 different episodes, which makes a series. And one of those, we talk about being, putting your oxygen mask on first, and we talk about, coasting through life and not being present and all of that. So in me and Candice's relationship in these 10 years, some of the time we wasn't present for one another because we were going through different things. So you will find that out if you go to the podcast. So the podcast episodes come on every other week. So this is our, so last week it came out, then we skipped this week, and then it'll come out next week. It's every Tuesday at 5:30 Central Standard Time. But for the new year, we're starting to put other little snippets and other little nuggets out. So we'll have something out every Tuesday. So tomorrow I will be on there talking about some good stuff. And then you can look forward to the podcast on 5:30 next Tuesday, Central Standard Time. It's just conversations that we have together, like Candice said, just conversations that we've had throughout the years, and then just regular life stuff. That's what it's about. It's called Conversations with My Friends. We have our Facebook page, Conversations with My Friend, and that's where the episode shows up. And we also got the YouTube page, Conversations with My Friend. You can watch it on there too.
And I would encourage you to follow them on social media. These are some beautiful women. Veronica is always on social media. She loves social media. So you can catch her more. You don't know when you're going to catch her. It could be in the morning. It could be at lunchtime. It could be at midnight. Who knows?
No.
You're going to see Veronica out there and really just spreading love. I love to see her. She in her natural state. And you'll get to know her a little bit if you start following her. But ladies, thank you so much for being a part
Thank
of the
you for having
beginning.
us.
Yes, the
Thank you for
beginning
having
of
us.
Sisterhood Spotlight. So thank you so much. I love you guys. Any last words of love or encouragement that you can give the ladies about striving in sisterhood?
Well, I'm just thankful that we were invited here, and just to talk about these topics is just very vital. And it's so awesome to have someone to do life with. So I just would encourage all the women, if you don't have a good friend, it's necessary. It's just as necessary that you have a good friend now as an adult as it was when you were a child. So anyway, and maybe even more so. So that's what I would say. And thank you for allowing us to come.
You're welcome. Thank you. Any last words, Veronica?
Absolutely. First of all, I want to say, Laval, thank you for inviting us. And I love seeing you in your zone, doing what the Lord has called you to do. It makes my heart smile every time I see a picture, a video, a post, whatever you're doing, it makes my heart smile. So keep doing it. I promise you, I promise you, I promise you, it is going to, through your work, so many friendships are going to be created and so many other ministries are going to be birthed through that. And I just appreciate it. So keep going.
Thank you, ma'am.
And then my friend, Miss Candice, I am so utterly proud of you. I love you so very much. I was in tears like the whole time in this podcast. And I just want you I just want you to know that I've seen you ever since we started the podcast. I push you, and then sometimes I know you be wanting to like I push you, but you trust me, and you'll take that next step, and you trust God, of course, that He's them positioned you to do this. But I just want you to know that I'm so very proud of you. I love you. Thank you so much. And I'm excited to see all these friendships up in this community.
That's what I'm talking about. Yes, ma'am. So ladies, thank you so much. Have a wonderful night and continue to keep striving in sisterhood, okay?
Yes.
Have a good night.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'll get to know you better.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it.
All right, good night, ladies.
Good night.
So ladies, we'll be back soon, next Monday, matter of fact. And you guys continue to keep striving in sisterhood, okay? All right. Ladies, have a good night.